There's a Sanskrit word which is common in Buddhist texts, and it refers to what we do, which we call practice. And the word is bhavana, bhavana. And I see Vipul nodding. He knows what bhavana is. And it actually points to the interesting historical fact that Buddhism arose within the context of the agricultural world in the axial period. And the word bhavana means to cultivate. And that's what we do here at Upaya. We cultivate. We cultivate by relating to the earth in a very mindful and caring way. We cultivate our heart and mind and body as we engage in our practice in the Zendo, in this sacred space. But also we cultivate body, heart, and mind when we cook, we clean, we wash dishes. And Vipul is so, it's his first time. We met in Dharamsala in October for the interactions with the Dalai Lama, and we fell in love, and he's here. And I actually wish all those other young people could be with us. They're young, compassionate leaders from Lebanon and Afghanistan and Africa and so on. And Vipul is one of that great cadre of young people. And so Vipul says, "Oh, I'm learning so much." And I smiled. He said, "I didn't know work was practice." And I says, "Well, welcome to when Buddhism went to China and met the world of Confucianism, where the monks from India were looked on as kind of lazy bums, you know, being waited on hand and foot. And this is just like, you got to be kidding, you know," said those early dudes. "That's just nuts. What is that about?" And so, you know, this practice that we do of Samu, in the kind of conscientiousness, whether it's the cultivation of food or the cultivation of a beautiful space like this, or your own life, or our life with each other, or our life with all beings. Bhavana, cultivation. I think it's beautiful. Cultivation, bhavana. So that is what we're here about. We're here to engage in these hours and days together with and through each other, various ways that we cultivate our lives in order to really end suffering in our lives in the world. And then many of us have Roxus on, and this is actually an image of the robe of the Buddha. And this, I have always loved the Roxu, because the Roxu was invented in 6th century China when Buddhism met unhappy politics, if you will, not from within Buddhism, but from within the political structures of China. And as a result of that, many Buddhists were killed, and the monks put on work clothes and shrunk the okesa, which tomorrow morning you'll see some of us wearing the full robe of the Buddha, and into this form. Wendy has one. Yeah, with rain stitching. And I see Troy has a Hoshi. Wendy's a Hoshi. I'm just a Dickens. Anyway, I have always loved the Roxu, because more than the occasion, I'm not supposed to have preferential mind, but you know, the fact that it represents this dedication, you know, of really swimming against the stream, of putting on the robe, but having to hide it in order not to be killed, but keeping your practice intact. Now, the Roxanne no queso are in the design of a rice field. And when we chant in the morning, vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teachings in order to nourish all beings. So, you really, when Buddha and Ando were out walking, that might be a nice idea to, other people have these kind of robes and everything. And yeah, says the Buddha, it's a nice idea. And what do you think, Ananda? I think it's great. And they were walking in a rice field. But the rice, of course, is the staff of life. This is how we nourish all beings. But what is even as powerful as that is that water passes through the rice field, always seeking the lowest level. So it's like getting off your kind of high horse and seeking always the lowest level. And, sort of nothing makes me crazier than a snooty Buddhist. So, and there are some, let me tell you. But anyway, we're trying to end that trend, at least in the West. Sorry, forgive me. No, please don't forgive me, accept my word. No. So every year for years, and I have to say, I met Wendy, I guess it was 85 or 86, at the Ojai Foundation. When Thich Nhat Hanh came to the Ojai, I was the founder of that venerable institution, and I asked Thai to come. And the retreat that year was pulling together artists from all over, including Wendy and Mayumi Oda and Kaz Tanahashi. And wow, we all met, we were breathing and smiling, Peter Levitt. It was just so wonderful. And I fell in love with all of those people. We all became this sort of gaggle of deep friends. And when we, anyway, I founded Upaya. I'm not going to found anything else, I promise. I've given up founding. I'm just trying to hide now. But anyway, we had this kind of little poor old dry garden over there, and the wind would come and blow through that garden. And we would desperately be watering peppers and tomatoes, and any tomato that appeared had to have cost at least $75. That's about as much water as it cost at that time. And I remember those peppers; those were $100 peppers, And so Wendy came out, and she brought the magic of the three sisters into this space, and brought really life out of the earth. And her teachings on compost, I made all the residents go to the compost class. Wasn't that just fantastic? Doesn't it make you just want to do compost, right? Right? I mean, really, it was just so wonderful. And then, how Wendy has established these deep and abiding ties with Native peoples who are protectors of the seeds, of the germ, if you will, of the ancient cultures that comes to us in these exchanges that are so precious, of rematriating the seed that we grow out here gets rematriated to Santa Clara Pueblo and through Melissa and others, to tribal peoples all over California and the Southwest. And it's women passing the seed along, but this very pure seed. And I just am so grateful to Wendy's depth of wisdom and knowledge in her teaching, knowing that what she teaches is not separate from the great traditions of Turtle Island. That teaching that she brings forward is also not separate from our practice of Buddhism. And I said, I don't know, I've given so many talks, I don't even know what I've said to whom, but anyway, I said recently, I was with Upaya residents years ago in Santo Domingo Pueblo for the corn dance in August. It is cool. Now I just tell you, now that the pandemic is dialed down, it's just to see 500 men dancing and then the corn maidens in their midst. It's just so powerful. And then you freely can go into people's houses and sit down and eat, mutton stew. Well, be vegetarian, chile rojo, the good stuff. Anyway, and so I had a hair don't, not a hair do then. And so, I stood out a little bit from other people, unfortunately. And so my host said, "Oh, what's your situation?" I thought maybe I was a patient or maybe I was a priest. I didn't know. He didn't know. I says, "Well, we're Buddhists." And he says, "I have to tell you, you're not any different from us. We do the same kind of thing." And I was just like, we just smiled, this old guy and I, we just lit up. So if we can go to the corn dance in August, that's really a holy thing. So I wanted to give you a little peek into the schedule before we introduce our venerable and old friends, but to say, Zazen is at 7 in the morning. We encourage you to come and sit, and we will do liturgy. Is that okay? And Alonso, by the way, while we were over in the Taizando, said, full moon is on Saturday, so we're going to do Gate of Sweet Nectar Saturday, right? Yeah? Yes? It's Sunday morning? All right, we're going to do Gate Sunday morning. Fusatsu. Oh, okay, right. Oh, sorry, I want to dance, not bow. Sorry. Darn. Dang.
Roshi, shall we add a dancing part to
we'll
Fusatsu?
Reaffirm the precepts. What?
Should we add a dancing part to Fusatsu?
Yeah, I think that would be really good. Okay, so we'll do Fusatsu, full moon ceremony, Sunday morning. That'd be wonderful. Oh. And breakfast is at 8 o'clock on Friday. And then we have Samu work practice, Bhavana work practice, Samu, got to do it. Really, the Chinese, when, they didn't understand those Indians, so it's okay. But now you're getting the Chinese treatment here, people. That's all right. Then we're so fortunate, our good friend from Santa Clara Pueblo, Porter Swenssel, who he's Roxanne's son, and just an amazing person, has a PhD in anthropology, is a fluent Tewa speaker, is now head of the Tewa school, and they're really like Roxanne reestablishing the Pueblo diet within her Pueblo, within her clan and her people, completely transforming the health and well-being, as you'll hear about, by bringing her people and then many people in her village back to this original diet, ending diabetes, ending high blood pressure, ending obesity within a very short period of time, and running all the blood tests, and it's all, Charlie, you'll love it. She really knocked it out. Charlie's a doctor. Knocked it out of the thing. Anyway, so Porter just took on a new school that is emphasizing the Tewa language, because the language has the seeds of the culture within it. And he and his family are so dedicated to the preservation of the great traditions of his peoples. And that's going to be followed by a presentation by Roxanne Swensel, who is an extraordinary artist and wild farmer and experimenter, and just a treasured friend of ours who has, become, in a way, the heart of rematriation, really bringing forth this passion for bringing seeds to places where people have forgotten even how to plant, and then learning how to plant again and growing seed out. And then it's like the currency of love, the currency of this earth. It's the true richness and the true riches of our earth that these women are engaged in transforming. We are so fortunate to have our neighbors just a little north of us, such a close and precious relationship. It's really, really rare, as you can imagine. And then beloved Melissa Nelson, who is part of the Rematriation Network, coming from actually more the Cree area, but now living in California and working with many tribal peoples there. And again, growing out native seeds. And this is another anthropologist. See, I'm an old anthropologist, a recovering one. So it makes me happy that anthropology has grown up a little bit. So never mind. And then beloved Alonso Mendez, who's from this world of Chiapas, where Troy and Alonso and I and Noah and Fushien, we were all down there praying with Alonso in a world that is very much in Alonso's heritage as a Mayan, but also as an archaeoastronomer, as someone who has planted corn in the Mayan world and also here. But the work that Alonso did in mapping a great deal of Palenque and also of Chaco Canyon, and understanding the relationship between the cosmos, what you look up and see through long spans of time, different experience of time when you're gazing into the heavens, and also its relationship to the earth. So grateful that you are in our midst. And we share a watershed. Alonso now lives on the Trampas River, and we live, just a little above the Trampas. So how come I met Alonso? I said, oh. So, and then beloved Troy Kiddo Fernandez, 30 years of friendship and practice, one of on our board of directors of Upaya. And as Troy shared the other night, he's of Tewa Sephardic, Hispanic heritage, braiding those worlds together. And if you didn't, those of you who have just arrived or are online, have the opportunity to hear Troy's beautiful talk on Wednesday about not just the tea ceremony, of which he is a practitioner of the tea ceremony, a Zen practitioner, but also speaking about his family's orchard and, what it is to open the acequia gate and to watch the water move slowly, until the trace of the water has disappeared into the earth and made it possible for the water to move quickly to water the orchard. And he just did such a beautiful talk on, how this is our practice. We have to be saturated in practice it goes slowly. And then once the ground is saturated, then the water can move. And this is so true. So, Troy, I'm so grateful you're in our midst. I sort of introduced you guys, but now just a little bit more about our schedule. At 5:30, we will have Zazen after the afternoon session, followed by dinner. And then just the evening is relaxation. It's nice, convivial, or go to bed, because next morning, 6 o'clock is optional. But we have preparations probably we have to do as well in the evening. And then 7 o'clock, we'll have breakfast. 8 o'clock, we'll go into the garden and pray with Troy and then Alonso as we plant the Three Sisters garden. And so I think that is so precious. And then in the afternoon, Melissa will be talking about the honorable harvest, and followed afterward by Wendy and Melissa speaking to this work of rematriation and vision. And then a wonderful dinner, and it says Pueblo diet. Oh, that's right. I thought that we're going to eat that. No, sorry. Yeah, then, sorry. Then on Saturday evening, we're going to see the film on the Pueblo diet, what Roxanne did in her culture. It's just really staggering to, it takes a feisty woman sometimes to do something so radical as that. And then Sunday morning, Fusatsu, full moon ceremony, and then Samu, and then we will come into council. There will be an online council at, Noah or Bonnie, do we know when the online council is? That's at 10 o'clock, right? Okay. And 11 o'clock. Okay. We'll announce it. We'll announce it. So we have a very, 9 to 10 is the online council, and then our own council will be 11 to 12 here on site. So as you see, like the Pueblo diet, it's varied and it's Bhavanic, if you will. It is really about cultivation, the cultivation of our friendships, the cultivation of our practice, and also the cultivation of this honorable seed planting in this garden that is a place where we are growing out a very rare seed, a pink corn that Roxanne asked us to grow out purely, so we'll have no other. Usually we do blue corn in that garden, but it's pink corn this year. We're growing it out for her, and we'll rematriate that corn in the fall or in the winter. So, and then Alonso, I think you're also bringing, are you bringing any Mayan corn or? I'll bring some to show. Yeah, we have to keep those pollen boys so away from our girls though.
No, we'll bring some to show you guys.
Okay.
I brought some Maya corn from Palenque.
Great.
So there's
yeah,
all 4 colors.
Wow. Well, but you got to keep those pollen boys at bay, because they'll mess up the strain. Get all kind of like that. And we've had some pretty mixed up corn over the years, haven't we? But we kind of got it under control, and we produced some beautiful dark blue and black corn over the past some years. But it's hard to keep those pollen boys at bay, I'll tell you. So Wendy La.
Good evening. What an honor to be here, to be a guest of Upaya Zen Center to come home to this rice field right here. You know, in the morning, every morning when we chant, we remember that 72 labors bring us the rice we're eating. 72 distinct labors feed us so that we can together taste the truth of the Tathagata's teaching. Taste the truth of bhavana practice. And taste the truth of our life in difficult times. And we are not turning away from the disorder of our times. So it is an honor to be a guest here. Thank you, Roshi Joan, and thank you, Upaya Zen Center. Thank you, beloved residential community, for your practice and your stalwart, steadfast, standing at the edge and continuing under all circumstances. And thank you, dear guests who've come here from the 10 directions to be present in person, to open the eye of the teaching, to open the mind and heart of deep practice, and to recognize that in so doing, in arriving here, we are guests in an ancient landscape, the Tewa world. More than 20 centuries, 20 generations, Roxanne and Kiddo remind us to really cultivate the true strain of original food. Corn, beans, and squash. How's that sound? Does it sound better? Good. So we're here to taste the truth and to be respectful guests on ancient land, in ancient land. And it is an honor to be together. So we're going to begin by sitting, as Roshi said, radiating out in a widening spiral, in a gyre. First, to find our true home, for those of us in person in this hall of no mistakes, the Circle of the Way Temple. Below the floor, a great circle reminding us of unfinished business, everlasting, pure, intimate, joyful, eternal practice. Wherever you are, dear online community, you will be with us. I assure you, many in this room have been at home over the last 3 years practicing in this way. So all beings in the 10 directions are welcome. We're all guests together in each other's central hearth. And so our business is to begin by settling ourselves, really doing that. And then to receive the gifts of the ancient seeds and entrust them to the ground. And there'll be plenty of conversation. What's unique about this program is the residential community will be fully engaged and incorporated, intertwined, and braided into our practice. And that is rare. A community that usually serves and cares for will be part of this brief and brilliant Sangha for these few days. We'll plant life on ancient land. And it is an honor to do so. So please do not worry. You are entering a hall of no mistakes, an innocent, sincere practice, not looking around, settling yourself with a strong spine, a soft, open-hearted awareness and commitment to be renewed. And to be renewed by welcoming decomposition and decay, by welcoming disintegration and loss, and by incorporating it and coming fresh anew. And that always begins with ceremony, with practice, and with deep Dharma friendship. So welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 10 directions. When Roshi referred to that retreat so many years ago, we practiced with Thich Nhat Hanh very intimately for 10 days. We didn't introduce ourselves until the 7th day. We just sat in silence outside under the great oak trees of the Ojai Valley and came home to the truth of what it means to really practice and be renewed. So it's wonderful to be here. And I'd like to ask Kiddo and Alonso and Melissa if they'd like to just say a few words so you can hear the voices of our visitors and just have a sense of what it means to be together tonight, what's ahead. And then also forget what's been said and just come fresh and new to this ancient land. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be here with you.
So, good evening, everyone. You've heard a lot from me in the last 24 hours, so I will keep this brief. Each year, as I said in my talk last night, I really wonder what can I bring? And even now, again, I'm asking that question. What can I bring? And I thought, as I often do, I bring these objects from my collection of things from my ancestry. And so I bring this ancient pot, this bean pot that belonged to my great-grandmother. And each year it seems to speak to me in a slightly different way. And I just think, what could be more perfect than this vessel, this holding, made of the earth itself, of water, of fire, and love. And as I call to mind, the ceremony that we will, yes, be doing on Saturday, I just invite you to consider that actually every step we take in this time together is ceremony. Every step we take, as Nisargadatta Maharaj says, perform every act as an act of worship, right? As an act of love. And I think to myself, as I look at this pot, the work it took every day, my great-grandmother cooking the beans for her family in this pot, over an open fire, day in and day out, a kind of ceremony, right? Showing up like that. And also that in that ceremonial journey to think about, grab this from you and chapas with Alonso as he guided us so beautifully through his ancestral land. We were in the market and it's filled with some medicine, right? And older brother. Is that what it's called? Older brother.
Bankilao.
Bankilao, yeah. And it's full of this bankilao. And so I also thought about just inviting us to consider that our time together is a kind of medicine. Yeah, it's a kind of medicine as we pilgrimage together in and around each other. So, like Wendy, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Troy. Thank you all for being here and welcoming us. Thank you, Roshi. I feel very blessed to be part of this community. Very grateful for being welcomed into such a dynamic and beautiful space, a space of healing, a space of learning, a space of growing, which is what we're aiming for in these next few days, to grow a little, to offer of ourselves, to learn, and to nurture, which is, I believe, the concept that Roshi put forth. I'll be very honored to speak to you guys a little bit about where I'm from, how I grew up, where I learned many of the things that are part of me today. Chiapas is a very beautiful state of Mexico, full of forests, rivers, lakes, great abundance of life. And so we were blessed to grow up in that environment that was rich not only in the natural world, but also in culture. And this is my heritage, one half of my heritage, because the other one came from a very unlikely place, which was Brooklyn, New York. And my mother, when we speak of rematriation, she was truly one of the women of that practiced that. She abandoned her culture in Brooklyn and came to the Maya world, and felt much more comfortable there than she did at home in New York. And so over the course of her youth and then later midlife, she brought us into the world, a Maya world of my father, who was Tzeltal Maya from the highlands of Chiapas, a man flawed in many ways, but also a man gifted in extraordinary ways. And one of those was his knowledge of plants. This was something that he cultivated and brought forth in numerous studies of botanical knowledge. And so I was exposed to that, and as a young boy, I was really eager to learn about plants and to follow in the footsteps of my father. So in the next few days, I'm going to hopefully share a little bit of that knowledge, and I'll talk a little bit about corn, because corn is central to us as Maya, and in many ways it became the core of our civilization, the ancient one, and still the contemporary cultures. And so I hope to share that with you and to show you how intimately connected we can be to plants and to the activity of agriculture. It's really truly one of the knowledges that have been passed over time, the one that has grown over time, and today we can act upon it as a practice, if you will, that is both nourishing and it fills our lives really with a purpose. We become truly what we eat and what we grow. So I hope to share some of that and show you how as people we can be closely tied to a beautiful thing like this, like a plant. Thanks.
Bujun and Dinoy Maganatuk, Tanshikia. I greet you in the languages of my mother, Chippewa Cree, also known as Michif, language that combined 3 languages, Ojibwe, Cree, and French. And so I am so honored to be here and so grateful to Roshi Joan and dear teacher Wendy and all of these beautiful new brothers for this wonderful opportunity to speak about my work and love of food and seeds and food as medicine. the organization I've been happy to serve for nearly 30 years, the Cultural Conservancy, has a thriving native foodways program. And we manage 2 wonderful indigenous organic farms in Northern California. So I'll be sharing with you some of the beautiful seeds and plants and medicines and communities we've been growing in an urban context with the urban intertribal communities of Northern California. One of my beloved teachers, Leroy Little Bear, a Blackfoot elder, has come to our land many times and has blessed us with so many good teachings. And one of the teachings he shared with us that I'll be speaking a bit about, and that has been already alluded to so beautifully here, is that as indigenous peoples, and I think as all peoples, ultimately we find our cultural resilience in the medicines of the land. And that food is such an intimate and profound way that we connect to the land every day. We eat the landscape. And food is our first medicine, and water is our first food. So we are connected to the whole cosmos through our food. And another statement or common teaching we talk about is from seed to plate, from soil to sky. And how food again connects us in this whole cosmological relationship with our body, our flesh, the soil, the water, the fire, the breath. And so it's been such an honor to learn from Wendy and so many other farmers and learn here from all of you practitioners, the cultivation of the garden of the mind heart, and that relationship between cultivating the land for health and well-being and cultivating our heart mind in such a beautiful way. So I'm truly honored to be here with you all and you online, and looking forward to an incredible day of dialogue and learning and sacred exchange as we plant these seeds together on Saturday. Chimigwich.
So, S-O-W, S-O. So, S-E-W, Buddha's rice field robe. So, let's stitch our lives together. One stitch, one breath, one vow, one kernel of sacred corn, a single bean, an ancient squash seed, a sunflower, oh sunflower, weary of time, I will be renewed. And this is our vow, to be renewed, to plant life and never turn away from this burning world that we love and know, are made of, and are called to serve. This is an activist, artist, engaged community. Tomorrow, June 2nd, is Mayumi Oda's birthday. Very few Zen temples have this kind of green activist goddess coming up out of the earth, foot on the ground, gifts in her hand, calling us to serve. And also to sit long and strong, deep and true, and not turn away from the sorrow and the challenge. So we are one. We are one community, nourished by the food of the earth and each other. And we need to rest. We do need to rest. So it's time now to do so. And if you've come from a great distance, even from Albuquerque or Santa Fe, it's a great distance to actually arrive. And arrive under the stars, right, Alonso? To arrive under the dome of heaven and up out of the ground, up out of the living ground, and be new and fresh. So we begin.
So I want to also give us the opportunity for those of you who are online to name your watershed, if you will. If you would, in the chat, put your watershed name. Say what?
Yes, you
watershed that feeds the land where you are. So go for it, Noah.
Lake Erie, Chesapeake Bay watershed, the lower Embudo Valley watershed, Santa Fe watershed, Cascade, Mississippi River, Spring Creek, Minnesota, Santa Rosa Creek, Boulder Creek, Tamul, Lake Atitlan, Mayaland, Guatemala, Bear Camp River. They're going by so fast. Where do we go? San Luis Obispo Creek, Mississippi River, Elk River to the Columbia, Black River, Columbia River, Pueblo Mountain, San Gregorio, California, Charles River, Santa Fe Hudson River, Kankakee River, Rio Grande, Albuquerque, the Andes, Kaneohe, Hawaii, Mill Stream on the unceded Lecungan territories, Seco Riviera, South Platte River, Achafalye, Achafalye. Thanks, Carolyn. She spelled it out for me. Biscayne Bay watershed, Los Angeles River, Soquel Creek, Swannanoa, Chicago Calumet, San Francisco Bay, Yuba River, San Antonio Creek watershed, Petaluma, Kootenai River, Michigan, Mackinac, Saskatchewan River, Snoqualmie, Ohio, San Antonio watershed, Hudson Elk Bushkill Creek, Peñas Blancas, Cachi, Costa Rica, Bow River, Colorado River, Pajaro River, Croton and Catskill, Kootenai River, Boca Raton, Los Angeles, Simicot Humla, Trans-Himalaya, Palden Lamo, welcome. Deerfield Watershed, Southern Vermont in the Great Connecticut River, Middle Spokane Watershed, Skagit River, Wiggy, now called Humboldt Bay, Hudson River, Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio River, Sheboygan, Wisconsin, Duwamish, Napa River, Everglades, St. Croix River.
Wow. Thank you. Water is life. Trampas.
Saugatuck Creek.
Cascade Canyon.
Kitty Kitty River. I don't know the name of the river watershed. I need to learn this. In Marin, what watershed is it?
One more time
In West Marin.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Lagunitas. Thank you.
San Francisco Bay.
The mighty San Joaquin River.
The Rio Grande.
The Han River.
Hudson River.
Hudson River as well.
The Santa Fe watershed.
The Arkansas River.
Arkansas River to the Mississippi.
Le Fleuve Saint-Laurent.
Hudson River. Santa Fe River.
Trampas. Actually, I have no idea what the Hong Kong River is, so whoever knows can tell me.
Trampas.
Willamette River.
Inlet River.
Sacramento and American rivers.
San Francisco Bay.
The Huron River and the Great Lakes.
Another Lagunitas.
Santa Fe River.
There's no name for my watershed. I don't know what it's called. It's the Talaya Hill watershed.
the river Krishna in Maharashtra, India.
The Rio Grande.
San Lorenzo River in unceded Amur Mutsun land.
The Hudson River.
Merrimack River.
Santa Fe watershed.
Santa Fe watershed and the Trompas River.
And unsaid, all the peoples of these watersheds, all of the many beings part of our gathering tonight, alive, still here, and still, very still here. Feel that truth, taste that truth tonight. And as we go forward to plant life together. So let's spend a deep minute together, just settling. Remember how beautifully, for those of us who had the privilege to participate in the extraordinary Varela Symposium, and I commend to those of you who may, please listen to the teachings that were just filling this room a short week ago. And remembering how Richie led us in meditation in the morning, careful, deep, precise meditation, and then honoring him and remembering, because he sat in this very spot in the front of the room, he invited us to please stop meditation as usual and just fully enjoy the harvest that we have received this evening. So 1 minute of deep sitting together and enjoying the harvest of our time. Find your ease. Don't turn away.
Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are
inexhaustible.
I vow to transform them.
Reality is boundless.
I vow to perceive it. The awakened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Let me respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken. Awaken. Do not squander your life.